to you.
Oh, it
Yeah,
is?
so you can take notes from the recording.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
no need to write, sit back, relax, and chat.
Yes. You know what the most important thing is? Have a good time and learn a lot. Because this gentleman will have a lot.
Forget all this
What-
is going on.
What years?
I don't bite. So don't worry about
He was in the hospital in Korea.
it. No, in Japan.
Oh, in Japan.
I was hurt in Korea.
What years did you serve?
I joined in July of 1948 and I got out in 53.
Oh, so you were before even the war.
Yeah.
Wow. He was saving my life because I was born in 1951. Okay,
I
so
won't go there.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this because this is the tape that's going to be sent to the Library of Congress. That's going to be burned on DVD. So I'm just going to identify where we are and everything, and then you're going to say your names, okay? And then you can start. Okay. This is a Korean War interview on April 23rd, 2004 at Orchard Park High School in Orchard Park, New York. The interviewers are,
Steve May.
Nick Gino.
and Katie Klein.
and we are interviewing Mr. Amilcare Zarcone. Okay? I'll be back toward the end of the period to take your picture, and have a great time. It'll go fast.
Make sure you speak loud. Okay?
Were you drafted or enlisted?
No, I enlisted.
Well, what branch did you choose to join?
I enlisted in the Navy because I felt that I'd get 3 meals a day and a bed every night.
Okay.
Did you see any combat in Korea?
Yes, we were in the invasion of Inchon and Busan.
Can you explain what happened there?
Yeah, I was on a troop ship, and we had landing craft, and then we pulled in, and UDT men were unloaded onto these landing craft, and they went in and they did the beach, and then we had to go and pick them up afterwards. Our ship wasn't a fighting ship in the sense that we shelled the coast or anything, but we did have guns on it, and there were railroads that went in from one tunnel and then to another tunnel. And what they do is build up steam in this tunnel to run into the next tunnel. So what we would try to do is fire on them as they were going. Sometimes we got them, sometimes we didn't.
Where were you living when you enlisted?
I was living in Orchard Park,
Oh, you were?
right down on North Buffalo Road,
Cool. And why did you join?
because a lot of my friends had joined, and I thought I'd like to join too.
Could you tell us about some of your most memorable experiences from being in the war?
Most memorable, I think it was the invasion. And then after the war, we went to this little island off the coast, and there were all these Korean prisoners. They'd take them out to this little island, and we had to liberate them, or whatever you want to call it. Brought them aboard our ship and took them back to the shore, the mainland. That was probably the...
What was your job on the ship?
I was an electrician on heavy power. We serviced all the generators. We had 3 generators. It was DC power. And we serviced the condensate pumps, all the heavy power on the ship.
What was your boot camp and training experience?
I went to Bainbridge, Maryland for boot camp, and I was there 10 weeks, and it was rough.
Well, it was really hard.
Yeah.
Like how did people entertain themselves in the? There's a lot of
Aboard
time.
ship,
Yeah,
there wasn't too much to do.
yeah.
A lot of people were quite religious. They had religious services, and we'd go down to them to be entertained. We didn't have movies or anything like that aboard our ship.
Did your experience as an electrician in the Navy, did you pursue that career afterwards?
Yes, I did.
Did you get trained for that in the
Yes,
movie?
I got out of boot camp, and I was a spectrographer before I went into boot camp. And when I got out of boot camp, they asked me what I did, and I told them I was a spectrographer. And they didn't know what a spectrographer was. Well, what is that? I says, well, we shoot 40,000 volts through little pieces of steel, make a spark, and it goes down through a prism and back on a plate, and we analyze steel by use of spectrography. Well, you did with electric, right? Yeah. Well, we'll send you to electrical school. That's where I went to electrician's main school.
Were there a lot of casualties in your unit?
No, we didn't have any. We were a board ship, so we didn't have any casualties, just the ones that got, like me, I fell off a boat and landed on the deck. Hurt my back, but I mean, other than that, there were no casualties.
Did you make any close friendships when you were in the service?
Yes, I did. I met a black man, and he was from Mississippi, and he resented me a little bit to start, but as we became brothers, we actually became brothers. We were working together. We were together every day.
Yeah.
You know, we slept together, you know, on the same ward. All the electricians slept over there, and so really went to eat together. Yes, very close.
Do you still keep in contact with him?
No, unfortunately, once I left the ship, that was the last I saw of him, and I never heard from him since.
When your service was finished, did you just start working right afterwards?
I was home 2 weeks and I was back to work.
How did you stay in touch with your family while you were on the boat?
We could write, but of course we didn't get our, like when you got your mail, you might get 14 letters because
Yeah.
you were out at sea and you didn't get no. And we were out to sea like 17 to 20 days at a crack.
Yeah.
And then when we had liberty, there'd be port and starboard liberty. This side of the ship would go one day, and then the next day the other side of the ship would go, and then we were out to sea again.
Did you write home a lot to keep
Every
up?
day.
Every day?
My mother wrote to me every day,
And you wrote to her every day too?
every day. Just, you know, I might not mail that letter every day, but I'd write things and then I'd accumulate it and mail it.
Did you travel anywhere else besides Korea?
Yes, we were on the Formosa patrol in the China Sea. There were ships that went around Formosa to protect it from the mainland China. And I was in Hong Kong for 10 weeks. We were an evacuation ship. They always had an American ship in Hong Kong in the event of an uprising in China. The American citizens would have a place to go to. And Britain had ships there, 2 evacuation ships.
Was there any time during your service that you regretted enlisting, or
No. No, every port we come into, I hung around with a guy that was going to be a priest, a teacher, and 2 phys ed teachers that were going to be teachers. And when we went into a port, the first place we go to was tourist agents and find out all the highlights of that city.
Oh yeah.
And then we go around the museums and this and that. There were other guys that got off a ship, the first place they went was to a gin mill, and that's all they knew. You know, we didn't do that.
Did any entertainers come onto the ship, or?
No, we never had anything like that. I saw Doris Day in Hawaii, and I saw Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall in Hawaii.
Did you guys have a lot of supplies, or?
Oh, yeah. No problem. A lot of good food. You see, being an electrician, we used to service the galleys. Everything was electric. So therefore, they treated us very nice because we kept their stoves going and we ate well.
When you weren't stationed across like the ocean, where were you in America? Or were you ever stationed like in America?
No,
Not
I
in-
got out of, well, yes, I was. I got out of electrician's maid school, and we had an opportunity, they'd post the ships that were available on the bulletin board. And I was fortunate enough that there were ships on the East Coast and ships on the West Coast that needed electricians. And I didn't want to go on the East Coast because I knew they'd go to the Mediterranean, and that was just like a joyride. So I picked the West Coast because I knew I'd go to Korea, and that's where I wanted to go. So I went from Great Lakes Training Center to Long Beach, California, and that was our home port.
Was there something special that you had or that you did for good luck?
No,
No.
not really.
Okay.
All those pins on your head, are those all medals that you?
No, those are conventions and state, county, and district conventions that I've been through over the years being in the VFW.
Oh.
Being a commander, I had to go to these different conventions, and that's where I picked them up. Every time you go to a convention, they got a pin for that
Oh.
particular thing.
Do you remember the day that your service ended?
Yep, I sure do. I counted the days.
What was it like?
Well, I was out in Long Beach, California, and then they bring you up and present you the papers, and off you go. And I hitchhiked home
Did you really?
from Long Beach, California to Buffalo. There was a place in Long Beach you could go to, and there were people that were traveling east. And if you were going to hitchhike home, you went down there, and somebody would be down there willing to give you a ride, as far as they were going. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What rank were you when you were
I was third
service?
class petty officer.
Does your uniform does the uniform like describe your rank, or does everyone have
No,
the same?
this is a uniform
Oh,
right
okay.
there, white, and your rank is here. This is when I got out of electrician maid school.
Oh,
I was,
okay.
then when I got out, I had a crow.
Oh, okay. So everyone, like, your rank is on your
Yeah,
arm.
yeah.
Okay.
What were some of the pranks that you or others would pull?
Really, aboard ship, you don't do that. You
Yeah.
don't pull pranks on guys because it's too close to quarters, you know.
Yeah.
You live, there's 4 guys, one sleep one on top of each other, and then you'll see pictures of the lockers. There's very close quarters, so we really didn't have any pranks that we pulled on anybody.
What did you do in the days and the weeks afterwards that your service ended?
Well, when I got home, I was home 2 weeks, and I was nervous, and I'm the kind of guy that's got to get going. So I went right to work. I went back to the steel plant. Started work right away.
Was there any time where you thought of enlisting again, like
No,
during the?
they wanted me to re-enlist. I said, no.
No.
What
That's
made
enough.
you change your mind? Just all the stuff?
That I didn't want to re-enlist?
Yeah.
I saw guys there that were in 15 years, that were married, that had kids, and here they're out at sea, and their kids are at home. I didn't think it's right.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have a woman, get married,
Yeah.
have a family. I couldn't see having a family being at sea.
There's a question here. It says, "What was your education supported by the GI Bill?" I don't really have much knowledge of it, but what is the GI Bill?
After I got out, I went to work as an electrician at the steel plant, and I found there was no future. So what I did is I went and I applied as a machinist. And I got the job as a machinist apprentice, and the government every month would give me so much money onto my regular pay as a machinist. And as a result, I became a machinist. That's how I wound up.
Oh, okay. What was the GI Bill? What did it say?
It's just to supplement your pay.
Oh, okay.
GI Bill. I mean, it could, if you wanted to go to college, you know, they pay part of your
Okay.
tuition. Or I really don't know. I never really got into it, so I can't answer that. Other than the fact that I did get a monthly check from them.
How old were you when you enlisted?
17,
And then, what were the years that you were?
1948 to 1953.
How did you view the communists back then?
I didn't have any.
No, I didn't care.
I didn't. It wasn't a big thing as far as I was concerned.
Was there anything after the war that you did differently, like because of your experiences? Did it affect your life at all?
I can't say it did.
No.
I really can't say it did.
Are there any stories that you remember while you were on ship?
Not really. Stories? I mean, what do you mean by stories?
I don't know, just like regular stuff that you did that sticks in your mind.
Oh, regular stuff that I did. When I was in Hong Kong, we toured Hong Kong very extensively. And we went to a place called Tiger Palms. And it was a very rich man that had a mansion halfway up a mountain. And he had an in-ground pool that was all mosaic, and he had a big dragon on the bottom. And then on the side, he had this huge pagoda. And we were allowed to go up to the top of the pagoda. And once we got to the top, the overview, oh, it was unbelievable. I got some pictures of that. Yeah, it was really fantastic.
Can you show us some of those pictures?
Yeah. Geez, I gotta sort these all out now. I didn't realize you wanted me to do that, but this is when I was in boot camp. These are the boys that I palled around with, and these are all boot camp pictures. Here, these are pictures in Hawaii on the beach. On the way, we picked up jungle warfare in San Diego troops, took them to Honolulu, Pearl Harbor, and then we picked up the invasion troops in Pearl Harbor to go to Korea. And this is the ship that I was on. And this, while I was an electrician, nobody wanted to go up and change. This is the Golden Gate Bridge. This is when we left. We went under the Golden Gate Bridge. And this is Alcatraz Island going out of the, from San Francisco under the Golden Gate Bridge at Pearl Harbor. And this is the guy that was going to be the priest that I palled around with. And there's me. And these two guys were phys ed teachers, and he was a teacher. And that's his home. And this is the kind of ship I was at. These are the little boats. They're invasion, you know, the fronts of them drop down, and then the troops run onto the beach. Here's a board ship.
Were you ever one of the ones on?
No, I never. We serviced these. We made sure they ran. All their electrical systems ran and everything. Here's some more ships in the harbor. This is up here. I took this picture from like a mast over there, and right at the end there are lights, and the lights burned out, and somebody had to go up there to replace them. So what you had to do is go up to the first platform, then go up to the second platform, and shimmy out there to change the bulbs. And nobody wanted to do that, because the boat goes like this while you're doing it. So they said anybody that does it, we'll give them 3 days off. I'll do it. So I went up there and did that. And this is when we're in battle uniform. We had to wear life preservers. And we were on deck, and if anything happened, we'd be available. And this is that going up in Hong Kong that you had to take a cable car and it stopped halfway up. And then that's the pagoda I was telling you about. You go up there and you get over you. And on the very top of the hill was a restaurant. And that's where we went, ate. And this is an overview looking down into Hong Kong. All these, that's how it looked from way up there. Unbelievable. Yeah, this is some more Hong Kong pictures looking down. This is a Hong Kong street. That's how crowded they were. And you see you used to ride those things there, but you had to be very careful. What they would do is they'd get you on one of them things, get you up an alley and drop you back. You'd hit your head and they'd rob you. You had to be careful. This is that black man I was telling you about that it was a very good friend of mine.
What was his name?
Clifford Dealis. He went to Mississippi University. Yeah. This is my girlfriend in Japan. She used to come to the hospital every day, and I met her. Here she is again over here. I didn't mention that. There's the pictures going up into that mountain. This is the ship I was in. And that's the end of it, I guess. Oh. And then you got all these little pictures they don't... I don't know why I even brought them. It was just pictures of different guys, pictures on ship. Here's a picture of a cruiser that I took. There's our ship. That's one of the guns on our ship. Here's some of my buddies. I don't even know why I brought these. I shouldn't have brought them. They're irrelevant, really. But I wanted to bring this money to you. I wanted to show you. This is the kind of money we were paid. We got money like this. They never paid us in American money. It was like that. And then we'd have to go over to the bank, and then they'd give us yen. These are yen. There was 370 yen to $1. And boy, the stuff you could buy, it was cheap. Really cheap.
Did you buy a lot of things in
Oh
Japan?
yeah, I bought ivory. I bought a lot of ivory. I bought pieces of ivory for $20. They're worth about $600
Wow.
today. And this is a Hong Kong dollar. They have dollars and cents. So we'd go over to the bank in the morning with our script, and we'd get $4.20 for every one of our dollars. The next day you went over to the bank, you might get $4.28. But if you went in the afternoon, it might drop down to $3.90. So it fluctuated that much. But these are Hong Kong dollars.
Did you send a lot of souvenirs home to your
I sure
family?
did.
Yeah.
I sent a lot of ivory. And I've got it now. My dad passed away, so I got it. I just thought maybe that's what that military script.
So they never paid you in actual money, they pay you in the military
Yeah,
certificate?
Right. And these are identification things that we had to have in our possession at all times in case they stopped you.
And what happens if you lost one?
You don't lose them. It's got your fingerprint in the back and your name and everything. So I thought I'd bring you that, show you that.
You know how you said you had to change the lights? Is that
Yes.
how you fell? And you said
No,
you fell?
no. I was servicing one of those landing craft, and as I was getting off the thing, they're up on a davit,
Okay.
and when I got off of it, I slipped and I fell and hit my back.
Oh.
And that's how I wound up in the hospital.
What kind of ship were you on?
I was on an APA, an attack transport.
I don't really know my ships that very well.
Oh,
Was it
attack
like-
transport carries troops.
Oh, okay.
That's all we did, carry troops.
Oh, so you just transport the troops back and
over
forth?
to, made landings, invasions.
Oh, okay.
And we were used as a patrol China Sea, and we evacuation ship in Hong Kong. Yeah.
Okay.
So then you were never really in combat, you just serviced the ships and, right?
Well, our ship went into combat. We were in the combat zone. We dropped the boys off in Inchon and Busan, and then we fired on the coast, like I was telling you, you know. But that was our extent. I was never on the land running up a hill with a gun or anything like
Yeah.
that. No.
Did you have weapons training with your?
Oh, in boot camp
Yeah.
we did. Yeah, I came third
Really?
in my class. Yeah, because my dad would never let me have an automatic gun. I had a single shot 22.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we went hunting squirrel, we used to hunt squirrel a lot. If you missed, you didn't get the squirrel. So
Mhm.
I tried to be, so I come in third in my class.
What other things did you have to do for boot camp?
March, pick up cigarette butts. Stuff like that. Oh, then we went to learn to swim, and we learned to tie knots, and we learned military, you know, Navy procedure and different things like that. And then we had to serve 1 week in KP. I didn't like that.
No.
Clean garbage cans. Ugh. Yeah.
Do you have any more questions?
I don't.
No.
Do you have anything else you want to tell us?
The only thing is, before I went to Korea, we were the first ship. We went down to Cuba, Santiago de Cuba. That's the way they call it. And we were the first ship in Cuba after World War II. And what they did, they had American Navy men go into Cuba during a fiesta time. And what they did, they urinated on their statues. And they got those guys and they killed them, dragged them through the streets, and dropped them at their ship. So they banned all American ships into San Diego. So we were the first ship into San Diego. About 3 years later, they allowed us to go in. So we had to be very, very careful. And that is where Mr. Bacardi had his mansion. Did you ever hear Bacardi rum?
Yes.
That's where he had his mansion. And it was beautiful. It was way up on the hill, and down below he had a park like with all lights, palm trees and everything. And the poor people used to go there. There's only 2 classes here, rich and poor. And the average Cuban made about $35 a year. A year. They script.
Wow.
It was tough. So they'd shine your shoes for 2 cents. They were happy to get it.
Wow.
Of course, we'd give them a quarter.
Yeah.
You know, quarter.
Wow.
That was big money. Is there anything else I can tell you that you'd be want to know?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
Oh, I
very
enjoyed
much.
it. I enjoyed it. I wish I could tell you more. What can I
Is
tell
there
you?
anything else you want to say?
Do you want to know what I did on Liberty?
Sure.
We used to go, and they had what they call diamond dance,
Mm-hmm.
and they were dance halls, you know, because we didn't know any girls or anything. So you want to dance, you had to we out in the dance hall and you give the girl a diamond, and you have a dance. Well, we had good times, you know. We did our sightseeing during the day, and in the evening we'd go to the dance.
Did you like to dance?
Pardon me?
Did you like to dance?
Oh, I love to dance. I love to dance. And of course, we were on our best behavior because we were with a guy that was going to be a priest.
Oh, yes.
Really, no, he drank his beer and everything, but as far as that was the end of it, we had our good time and then we went. Yep. Yeah. Well,
Thank you very much.
No problem. This book here I got in China, or Hong Kong. I got this book in Hong Kong, it cost me $1. And they do this by hand, you know.
I see him figure.
How they, that $1 is a lot of money to them. It was a lot of money. Yeah. I bought a cashmere sport coat, tailor-made, for $30.
Wow.
Cashmere. When I brought that home, my mother couldn't believe it.
Do you have like a favorite souvenir that you got?
My ivory. I treasure my ivory.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went to a place called the Inchon Ivory Works, and the whole store was just ivory. You can't imagine the carvings and everything. And he took us downstairs in the basement where they did it. It's one generation after another after another. The father teaches the son teaches, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they had pieces of ivory that big around with one ball inside the other ball, inside the other ball, and you wondered how in the heck they did it. And then the one end of the wall, they had all ivory tusks, big ones, small, you know, all different, graduated down, so if they needed a big one, they'd go rid of this cow and that cow. It was unbelievable. I really enjoyed that.
Would you say your military years were some of the best years of your life?
Oh, I'll never forget him. I'll never forget him. That one black man, when I came out of the hospital, I had 122 stitches in each of my legs.
From what?
I had both my legs operated on. And when we were downstairs, down in the, you know, servicing the generators or whatever, and we'd forget an instrument, I'd say, oh, God, I forgot the megger, or oh, I forgot the voltmeter. That's all right. I'll get it. No, I got it. No. Because you had to go up the stairs, go in the thing. And he knew my legs were in bandages, you know. But, no, I'll never forget that guy. Never forget him.
All right. I guess that's it.
Okay. Geez, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed
We did
I
too.
enjoyed
being with you. You're welcome to keep these. Please don't lose them. I'd appreciate that too. Because I treasure them. I've had them over 50 years now, and I got a box, and I put them in the box. You can see all the pictures. I tried to straighten the pictures out. They're all curled. There's a lot of pictures I didn't even bring that I didn't think were appropriate. Not nasty pictures.